Back to episode 10. Taehyung's room. Taehyung was already on the bed when Jungkook arrived with hot chocolate, painkillers, and the heating pad. He handed Taehyung the cup of hot chocolate. Careful, Taehyung didn't understand why was the heating pad there. Jungkook always used his hand to warm me up. Why did he bring that? Taehyung was confused. This wasn't the old Jungkook indeed. I will sleep now, Taehyung said and faced the opposite side. Jungkook just lay down and started playing with his phone. If it was the Jungkook I knew, he would be over my body by now. Taehyung surely was hot. A tear slid down his face, but he didn't notice. But Jungkook seems to have seen it. JK, hi, anywhere you are hurting? Jungkook asked. Yes, my heart. Taehyung wanted to yell, but he wouldn't do that any good. I miss my mom. Taehyung made an excuse, though it wasn't really an excuse. He did miss how Jungkook held him close and caressed his back. Taehyung only cried more. Jungkook said, it's okay, Jungkook said, but you are not the Jungkook I know. I wanted the old one back. Taehyung screamed mentally. Jungkook kissed him lightly on his temple. Taehyung felt so good about that touch. Now it was Taehyung who was a mess. Emotionally, he couldn't understand himself anymore. Earlier, he wanted Jungkook to stop loving him, to find someone better, but now he couldn't understand the sigh of Jungkook smiling at anybody other than him. He wanted Jungkook to hug nobody else but him. He couldn't understand why was he turning so greedy and possessive for Jungkook's touch and attention. He could only do it to one thing. Jungkook was one of the only one who were okay with Taehyung being what he was. Maybe that's why he felt so comfortable with Jungkook, but there was more than he had understood. Jungkook had been a new him for a while. Of 3 weeks, Taehyung was only hurting worse. As the days passed, his heart was hurting because of the change in Jungkook's personality, but who was he to complain? He was the one who was wishing to see changes in Jungkook. He was the one who wanted Jungkook to keep his distance from him, but Jungkook never complied with all this before, and now when Jungkook has changed just as Taehyung has wished him to, his heart was judging. Taehyung wanted to see the creepy Jungkook, but this Jungkook only talked when Taehyung talked to him. Jungkook would rarely start conversation, and when he did, none of the two knew how to keep it going. Taehyung missed the times when Jungkook made breakfast for them. They used to chatter over what they will have for lunch, even if they still weren't done with the breakfast. They would talk about the schedule for the day, but now when Taehyung walked to kitchen every morning, Jungkook would already be gone. Jungkook had stopped going to the office with Taehyung. At work, Jungkook was back to the man he was for the first 5 years, but Taehyung wanted to see the man he had been before he disappeared for 2 weeks. Taehyung regretted the night he asked Jungkook to stop quoting him because Jungkook not only had stopped quoting Taehyung, but he had also stopped talking to Taehyung. Taehyung could not stand the silence. Taehyung could endure any silence in the world, but not the one that Jungkook was giving him. For years, Taehyung loved the silence and loneliness, but the silence Jungkook gave him was piercing through his ear. His ear could bleed because of it for the first time in years. Taehyung felt lonely when someone didn't talk to him. He was someone who had started to like being alone, but now he could not be the same. The warmth Jungkook's head was all gone. He was turning cold on the inside. Tae was starting to die. Jungkook would be the happiest person when Taehyung was on his periods. Wouldn't leave Taehyung's side. He would get him everything he wanted. But this time Jungkook found work a little more important. Jungkook left Taehyung's room after Taehyung had fallen asleep. He didn't cuddle with Taehyung like he used to. Jungkook gave Taehyung the heating pad instead of sneaking his hands under Taehyung's shirt. He was not the jeon Jungkook knew to Taehyung. It was like someone else was trying to copy the original man. Jungkook wasn't the same person who would flirt with Taehyung. He had kind of stopped caring for Taehyung. Jungkook was so close to him, but he still felt so distant, and Taehyung hated himself for that. Taehyung was blaming himself for wanting to see the changes in Jungkook when he was wishing for this. He didn't know better. He didn't know that he would get too used to Jungkook's behavior, that when he changes, Jungkook's heart would go numb. Taehyung's heart would go numb. He didn't know that he would be the one who would hurt like this. He never imagined. Only if he knew better, he would have never wished for these changes. For Tae, it was his fault. It was his own fault that he was hurting. It was to be almost a month to those hurtful changes in Jungkook. Taehyung had gone to his mom's crib to talk to her. He wanted to tell his mom all his mistakes he had done because she was the only one who would not judge him. Taehyung wasn't even talking to Minho and Kai these past few days. He was too tired to listen to them. He was ignoring everyone as much as he could. He didn't want to show anyone his tears. Taehyung was not home for the whole days, and it was evening already. The sun was to set in not more than an hour, and there was no sign of Taehyung returning. Jungkook was sitting in his living room, suffering through Netflix. The bell rang, but Jungkook ignored it because he thought it was Taehyung, and Taehyung already had keys to the door. But whoever it was rang the door again and again. Jungkook got irritated and got up to check who the heck it was. Bong. Jungkook was confused. He was holding two bags. Hey, yo, brother. Bong greeted him. What are you doing here? Jungkook inquired. Pizza and beer. We need to talk about your love issue. Anyways, so I brought this on my way, Bong said as she walked in. You could have called me to inform at least. Jungkook rolled his eyes. Bong settled herself on the car. So, how's it going? She asked, taking out the beer can and pizza boxes. Jungkook came and sat beside her. No, as such progress, he answered. How has that man been behaving around you? Bong reframed her words. Jungkook said, he tells me everything he is doing. He never did that before. It's like he had changed. Bong saw the sadness son brother's eyes. And how have you been acting with him? She asked further. What do you mean? Jungkook didn't understand what the girl was trying to ask. Are you still the old clingy person, or are you giving him some space? Bong explained. Jungkook took a sip of the beer. I'm trying to give him his space, but it doesn't seem to be working. He took another sip and continued. He is either trying to stay away from me, or he is asking me why I am like this. Bong was confused. If he is staying away, then how does he ask? Jungkook looked at her. The only thing I see in his eyes is this question. Why are you like this? I can't see any. How much time do you two spend together? The girl asks. A lot lesser than before. We just can't communicate how we used to. Jungkook almost cried. Do you flirt with him? Give him presents? And do anything to make him feel your sincerity? She bombarded him with questions. We cannot even talk properly with each other, and you expect me to flirt? Jungkook's voice was breaking with every word. He is moving back to his cell. I can't even see him around. The tears were invading his vision. I have tired telling him my feelings, give him flowers, give him presents, but all he does is reject me. I am losing my mind now. Jungkook was still trying to stop his tears. And how sincere you were while doing all this. Bong couldn't help why say Jungkook looked right into her eyes. His eyes were screaming that he was nothing but sincere with his feelings, but nobody out there was ready to see the sincerity in his eyes caring. He was so lost he didn't know what to do anymore. Taehyung stopped sparing him glances. Taehyung started to ignore him again. Their conversation were back to those that suddenly got up and stood right in front of Jungkook. She bent forward and cradled Jungkook's face to keep his attention to her. Are you sure that you would like to show this side of yours to him? She wanted to stop Jungkook from being so pathetic. Jungkook just looked at her lost. No, he wouldn't. He surely wouldn't like to see your tears. She was trying to talk some sense into that numb brain of Jungkook. He would not fall in love with you truly just out of pity for these tears of yours. She told him he would rather fall harder when he sees your sincerity towards him. Jungkook was still not saying anything. I'm not saying that you have to hide your scars. You don't have to act almighty all the time. It's good to show you weaker side at times. Bring Bong was still holding Jungkook's face, but achieving what you want by taking advantage of your scars is wrong. Jungkook was taking in every word that came towards him. You can not make him love you just for these tears. He has to love you wholeheartedly for you both to have a long and lovely time together. Finally, Jungkook nodded. He smiled at the son sister. Jungkook turned his head when he heard something. Taehyung, you're back. Jungkook was still smiling. Bong straightened her back and turned to look at the new arrival. Taehyung's eyes were wide in shock. Hey, Bong greeted cheerfully as ever. Jungkook stood up too. What look you so long? What took you so long? But Taehyung didn't seem to be in a condition to answer anything. I'm sorry for interrupting. I will leave now. Please continue. Taehyung interrupted, turned on his heel and left. Taehyung, hey, wait. Jungkook understood that Taehyung had misinterpreted the situation. But Taehyung was not coming back. Did you and your secretary have some work to do? Bong asked. She was too unaware to understand that the situation had turned into no. Jungkook was stuck in the spot. Then how did he get in? Did we leave the door unlocked? Bong asked. He just came back and left again. Jungkook yelled. Why are you yelling? It's just your secretary. Bong frowned. Just my secretary? Jungkook confirmed what he heard. Yes, what else he is? Bong asked. Then hit Bong. He is my husband. Jungkook yelled again, but soon realized that he never mentioned these details to her. You are married. Bong's eyes were wide and shocked. Jungkook nodded. He is your husband and he is the man we were talking about. Jungkook saw the shock in her eyes. I should have mentioned all this to you earlier. It's my fault, he apologized. So, why did he leave then? Wait, if you are married, then why are you quoting him? She could not connect the dots. He must have misunderstood when you were standing in front of me. I will tell you the details later. Can you please leave for now? Jungkook was so frustrated. Bong collected her things and walked to Jungkook. Just remember that you need to talk to him as soon as possible and clear things up. I am just a call away if you need help. Bong said, walking to the door. She stopped while the doorknob was turned under her grip. Remember that miscommunication can lead to trouble, fallouts, so clear everything properly. Bye. And she left. Thanks be away. When I reached home, I saw a pair of unfamiliar shoes. They seems to be of a girl. Is mom here? I walk in and a smile plastered on my face. It was fake, but I don't want mom to worry about me. But the scene I walked into was something I never imagined. Jungkook was smiling at some girl that's not mom. She is much younger than her. Then Jungkook turned to me. Taehyung, you're back? Jungkook said to me. He was still smiling. Was he mocking me with that expression? Then the girl straightened her back and turned to me. Jewelry crops, see you. My heart stopped beating. I should have understood that these two have something going on. The time they hugged that day, it could have been saved me from this scene in front of me. Then this woman greeted me. How can she be so chill about me being here? That also when she was just got her hands off my husband. My husband, are we anything like that though, other than those legal papers? No, I never treated him like one, and now he isn't treating me like that either. Did Jungkook even tell her that we are married? I don't think so. Suddenly Jungkook's eyes changed. I can't read him anymore. I'm sorry for interrupting. I will leave now. Please continue, I said and turned to the door. I just wanted to leave here. I can't see this anymore. I heard Jungkook call me, but I don't have a reason to turn him. I drove away as quickly as possible. Tears are spilling out of my eyes, but I had to keep my composure at least till I reached my house. I should have just keep away from him. That would be better for us both. To be continued. I hope that they will communicate it and clear this misunderstanding. Also, I hope Taehyung will realize his feelings for Jungkook in this mess and confess his love to him. Okay, so see you again in the next episode. Hope you will love it. Bye bye.